Hi boys and girls. Today we're going to be talking about Module 5, Lesson 11 and 12. So last week we were talking about the clock. Remember how I was showing you guys that it was divided up into 12? We counted out the hours and there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we were saying that when it goes to a certain time like it is on here, how it's the big hand, which is the minute hand, and the little hand, which is the hour hand, is pointing to the 3. When we look at it, we would say it's what time? 3 o'clock. Remember when we said if it lands on the 12, anytime the big hand lands on the 12, we say o'clock if it's to the hour. But today, we're going to talk about how I can tell time to the half hour in different ways. So there's a couple different ways that we can tell if what time it is when the clock changes. So I'm going to show you something. So today I have this clock as well. So I have 2 different clocks here. And the big hand is the minute hand and the little hand is the hour. And when the big hand moves, it starts up here. Like it is right now, it would be what time? 5 o'clock. Now the big hand, it moves every second. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and it goes all the way around until it comes right back up to 60 up on top, if you can see it right there, 60. So on a clock, there is 60 minutes. When it goes all the way around, it goes to number 60. But we're not going to say 7:60. We would have to say 7 o'clock. That's the hour. So if we were to take half of this and we were to go all the way around and we count our minutes, 1, 2, 3, all the way down to the middle down here, that would be half. So instead of saying 7 half o'clock, that doesn't sound right either. We would have to say it is half past, see the half past 7. So when you are thinking about different ways, I want you to think about that. Half past means 30 minutes. So if my clock here, let's say my little hand is on 3, and my big hand, remember the big hand is the minute hand, the big hand goes to 6 down here. When we get to number 6, that's 30. That's half. So remember, we said it was 60 up here, and half of it would be 30. That's 30 minutes. So I would say it is what? What would I say if I looked at this? I would say it is half past what time? 3 o'clock. So then the clock would the minutes would just keep going around, and it would move again, and if it got to 12, it would be 3 o'clock. But because it's here, it's half past 3 o'clock. So that's one way we can think of it. When we say, just think of like half the circle. If I take half of this is 1/2, this would be half past. Now, when you think of it, you can also think of it as like a digital, like how I know at home you guys might have maybe a watch or a clock, and you can see on my watch it says 4:25. So when you think of half past, I want you to think how that would look if I was going to write it. Well, I know 3 o'clock, right? And it's half past 3. So what number would I have to put first in here? First, I would have to put the hour, because the hour goes first. So I would write 3. Now, would I write here half past in the digital clock? No, I would write 30, because remember, half past means 30 minutes. So it would be 3, and I'd write 30, 3:30. So now I have 3:30, and here it shows on the clock 3 o'clock, and it's 30 minutes. Remember I said when the arrow is pointing down into half. So we would say it is half past 3 o'clock. So here I would write right here, half past 3. So that is one way to write it. So remember, when you were looking at your clock, You were seeing at the top of your clock is 60 minutes. The bottom, it's half of it. It's 30 minutes. So you have to come up with a different way to write it. So 3:30. And here is 3:30 on your digital clock. So when you're doing your homework, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the clock, if you have a clock at your house, and the different ways that you can do it. Now, what if I just wrote this number? This time is a digital time. What would I write? How would I write that to show me 3:30? What would be a good way to write that? Well, I could do what I just did here. What would I write? 3:30 what? 7. So I would write 3:30 7. That is the same as 7:30. Now, if I was looking at my clock and I needed to put 7:30, I would see where my minute is. Remember, my big hand needs to be at the bottom where the number 6 is, because that's our 30. So I would check, and even if my little hand is not on the 7, that's okay. It's still right here. So I know by looking at the clock, it is 7:30. So you can see, and if you look here where I just did it up here, 7:30, 7:30. This one, 3:30, 3:30. 30 means half. So remember that 3:30 equals 30 minutes. So when you're doing your clocks and you're doing that, I want you to make sure that you are checking, is the number on the 6, the big hand, or where is it? Because if it's up on the 12, what would that be? Do you know what time that would be? Well, the little hand's on the 8. Remember, the little hand means hour. The big hand means minutes. So what would this be? This would be 8 o'clock. This wouldn't be 8:60, it would be 8 o'clock. But when my big hand moves all the way down after the minutes, it gets down here. Now what time would it be? It would be 8:30, or what? 3:30 what? 8. So I hope this helps you. And while you're doing it, use a clock at home. You can use your digital clock to help you, and use the workbook help pages in there too. That will be very helpful for you guys. Just make sure that when you're doing it, you're thinking about it. What would be 3:30? Remember, 3:30 equals 30 minutes. So there's different ways we can write it. I just showed you, just like I did here. 3:30, 3:30. 7:30, 7:30. How does it look on my clock? Just like here. If I wanted to do 7:30, I would have to make sure it's closer to the 7 and my big hand is on the 6. So remember those words, 3:30, and you can write 30 minutes, and you can do it that way. Thanks so much, boys and girls. I hope this helps.